Let's talk the firearms legislation. What happened in March was an absolute tragedy that no one foresaw, and it's broken the hearts of a whole lot of New Zealanders. The result of it, the change in the firearms legislation, I don't think has been terribly wise, and I'll tell you why. What we've done is we've criminalised law-abiding citizens. We're taking firearms off people who have done no harm, done no wrong, intended no harm towards anyone. New Zealand's firearm legislation was that people were assessed as being fit and proper people to own firearms. And that's what the people who have firearms in New Zealand mainly are. This guy that came in, he's got through a loophole. He wasn't properly vetted, his referees weren't properly interviewed, and that's how he's got through. But that is not standard practice in New Zealand. And the law has worked well in New Zealand. We have a situation now where we're investing millions of dollars taking firearms off law-abiding citizens. People that pay their taxes, go to work, do the right thing and raise families are criminalised for something they had nothing to do with, and that is not right. The other thing is they had got no choice, and that is a real blatant disregard to our freedoms. What the government's done by banning these firearms, instead of making their retention harder, putting more restrictions on so people had a choice, by their outright banning and buying them back, they're going to cost us hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's not just the money. Between 30 and 60,000 police hours will be lost taking firearms off law-abiding citizens. Now, if that time was actually spent targeting gangs, targeting drugs, New Zealand would be a much safer place. But just taking firearms off law-abiding citizens, it's easy, it's clean, it's nice, but it's not going to reduce crime in New Zealand. And the other factor of spending so much money buying back the firearms, I mean, that could be another 5 million police hours we could have had fighting crime. Think how much safer New Zealand would have been. This is an issue we could have solved ourselves. This is something we could have sat around the table and come up with a solution for if we were given time. But the government came out with a knee-jerk reaction. It wouldn't listen to the people. It snubbed the select committee process and ran through legislation that is going to hurt us all. It's hurting us in the back pocket. It's driving a rift in our communities. It's unwise, unnecessary, unneeded, and undemocratic. Before the government introduces any more firearms legislation, it needs to take a step back. It needs to acknowledge that what it did wasn't for the best interest of New Zealand and actually come up with whole legislation that works for us as a nation. We don't have to copy Australia. We're not Australia. Our legislation worked. We just needed to enforce it slightly better. We're saying to the government, hey guys, acknowledge that you got it wrong and actually do the right thing by the people of New Zealand and let us have a say in how firearms should be handled and stored in New Zealand. Hi, I'm Leighton Baker. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. If you want to find out more or get some in-depth look at our policies, just visit our website www.newconservative.org.nz.